What's going on, guys? Jack from the GOO here, and we're at Spin Dizzy Records in George's Arcade with,
Pierce.
And Dan, and we're Gurriers.
and we're going to have a look through some of their favourite records and have a little chat about them. So, Pierce, do you want to take us through your first album?
Yeah, my first record I've picked is Going Blank Again by Ride. It's their second record. I think the first time we properly played Come and See, like once we had gone through like the structure of it and stuff, like that song always reminds me of this album and the sounds in this album. Songs like Leave Them All Behind and specifically that track. Just a really, really important band of the time as well, for kind of at the peak of shoegaze and stuff as well, man. Andy Bell's obviously a legend, and then your man, the drummer Laws, he played with Jesus Mary Chain, and then Animal House as well. Yeah, just really, probably one of my favourite records. Really important band. Yeah, big influence on me personally.
So, your debut album, Come and See, comes out on the 13th of September, right? And it's been a long time in the making. Obviously, you started off in COVID and you've been releasing tracks for years. How does it feel? How's the feeling amongst the band to finally have the album come out?
Well, yeah, it feels quite surreal, to be honest. I think it's in the moment now. It's a bit. It's like something we can't touch, until we actually have the physical thing ourselves. I think it'll become a lot more real for us, and to see it like out there in the world will be really interesting. So yeah, it's really important for us to make a record. It always was like the goal, So I think at the moment it feels like something that's just a little bit out of reach, but we're getting there. And when we get it, it'll feel like we're full and whole again.
So, Dan, do you want to take us through your first record?
Yeah. So this first one I picked is definitely a favourite of mine and Ben's in the band, especially for kind of like a vocal aspect and lyrics, and it's Tom Waits' Rain Dogs. You probably wouldn't hear a lot of influences in Gurriers with this man, but there is a lot of like ideas for like narrative and imagery that he uses for lyrics that I think are unmatched to anyone else. I think he's probably one of the best lyricists there is, and he's always an inspiration for me, and if I could even be an iota as him, I would be very happy. So yeah, Rain Dogs, great album, have a listen.
So, Pierce, do you want to take us through your second album?
Yeah, the next record I've picked is Master of Reality by Black Sabbath. Kind of one of the seminal like metal records. So me and Mark have been friends for years. Like we were in like primary school and stuff together, and we were teenagers. Like we used to show each other music and go to gigs all the time. It used to be like our parents would take turns driving us to gigs and like waiting around outside to drive us home. And I remember we went to see Black Sabbath in Belfast. It's probably like 2012 or 2013, and I think it was my mum drove us that night, and she said it was like going back in like a time machine. It was all these like middle-aged like hairy men with like leather jackets and stuff on. And I remember just thinking like naively, this is the coolest thing ever, you know. But yeah, it's just a really good memory of like me and Mark like as teenagers. It's kind of a nice snapshot of us, first getting into music and hanging out and showing each other new music. Yeah.
So, Dan, I hear that you take a lot of inspiration from literature and movies while your songwriting process is going. So, how do you take inspiration from these particular art forms, and is it different to listen to other bands, as the different art forms go?
It's a good question. Yeah, no, I think when it comes to like movies and books, it's always the idea is to kind of take something from the actual narrative or the story or the literature or the movie, and then it's mostly to do with the title. So like Come and See, I got that idea from the movie Come and See, which is a visceral, horrible anti-war film. But the song has nothing to do with that. It's just a really interesting title. It's like I don't know. It's like the push you need to write something. It just gives you an opportunity to like write something instead of like making the idea in yourself, I guess. But yeah, I think there's so much more information and so much more knowledge in like other forms of art than just listen to other bands, and even like just art in general, like art pieces. You can find ideas from that. So yeah, movies and literature would definitely be a big a big inspiration for some of the lyrics.
So, Huff, do you want to take us to your next album?
Yeah. This one is the latest release of Lazarus Soul, which is a great name. It's No Flowers Grow in a Cement Garden. And Lazarus Soul, for me and many other Irish bands in general, gave me and a lot of other people, I think, the confidence to sing in our own accent and to sing with like a Dublin kind of mannerisms and stuff. And also, just again, Brian is a phenomenal lyricist. The song "The Dealers" is one of my favorite songs this year. It's about two women working in Murray Street. It's amazing. It's real authentic, real Dublin. And yeah, they're just one of those bands that really open up the doors, like Gilliban as well, to be like, look, you can do this. If you really, really put your head down. So yeah, this is a great album, and everyone should listen to it.
So, Pierce, you got an interesting pick there, Boney M. Do you want to take us through it?
Yeah, 20 golden hits. The magic of Boney M. Disco like royalty. These people, like, it's just. I love disco music. I know that's probably not a cool thing to say. But I like. I never really noticed how much like disco drums had an influence on my playing style until people started saying it to me. I've had it said to me loads, like when we're playing festivals and stuff. Um, this one guy in the Netherlands was like, "You're like a punk band with like a disco drummer," and then because I always thought it was more like on Des Goblin, like the drums are very obviously like Chemical Brothers kind of influence and that kind of thing. But the more I think of it, like the patterns I play, more often than not, take big inspiration from disco music and how simple they are, and even like the little fills and stuff and that kind of thing. I remember hearing like Dave Grohl speaking about like his influence from disco before, and he's obviously a big influence of mine. Probably one of the first drummers I really like looked up to when I was a kid, like. So yeah, and then obviously just like Boney M, probably like my favorite like disco band. Like the tracks in this are just ridiculous. Like, I actually have this at home. I think my favorite track's probably Belfast. But I think Mary's Boy Child is without doubt the best Christmas song of all time. And there's no arguments about it. It is the best Christmas song of all time. So yeah, if you're not familiar with Boney M, get familiar with them. Yeah.
So, I know you recorded a lot of the album out in Leeds, and I'd love to know, do you have any funny stories or anything interesting happen while out there was recording the album and the songs?
Yeah, so actually, the one story I always kind of go back to when I'm telling people about the recording was the end.
Yeah.
So when we were on the last day, I think they were just tracking some guitars or whatever. Me and Pierce went to was it like a B
Like an Asda.
an Asda or B and M's or whatever it was in
We
in
went
Eng-
on a mad walk.
yeah.
For about an hour and a half.
All I wanted to do was go buy a bottle of champagne and some little like plastic cups and a little present for our producer. So just to be funny about it, we all went and finished off the album and went out and got a bottle of champagne. But we didn't know it was Guy Fawkes night. So literally, as we finished the album and we all cheersed, the second we all cheersed, the whole sky lit up in fireworks.
Yeah, it was mad.
Now I don't know if that's a good thing or an omen, but
Yeah.
you never know. But yeah, it was really like it was cool. It was it felt like it was something kind of special being like encapsulated in fireworks for Guy Fawkes night,
Yeah.
which was quite weird. But yeah, it was a bit of a mad night that night. Then afterwards, yeah, we
Yeah.
went out to Leeds, and yeah,
Yeah.
the rest is blurry.
We there was a pub beside the studio that we actually didn't go into that much. We were actually quite well behaved when we were doing the album. We did like a come dine with me thing where like someone had to make dinner for everyone else every night. Like, it was actually pretty good. But we went into, it was the Halfway House was the name of the boozer. Went in there and Leeds were playing that night. It was a Friday night. Leeds were playing that night. So pub was getting busy after work. People coming in to watch the match or whatever. But there was a fella setting up like a karaoke machine. I think he was like an Elvis impersonator. Was it Elvis? It was Elvis, yeah. But so he got that set up, and he was like, he said something along the lines of, if you want to watch the football, go into this room. If you want to stay for the music, stay here. And then said it was like a half an hour for the football started. He was like, if anyone wants to sing a couple of songs, like get up and do it now. And this fella got up and he was bananas drunk. And he got up and sang would be probably doing him a disservice. I don't know. He
did a shout.
He just shouted the chorus of "I Predict the Riot" and mumbled the words of the verses. But yeah, it was.
Sounds like me.
Yeah, it was actually class. It was actually it was a really good memory. Yeah,
that was very good. Yeah, it was great. It was just shout out to the Knave and Alex Greaves.
Yeah,
they're great people.
So, do you want to take us to your next album, Huff?
Yeah, sounds good. This one is also Irish and is everyone knows CMAT. And this is the one. If my wife knew I'd be dead. I wish they had the most latest album, because one of the best of the year, I think. And it's just great. You never think Americana and country and Irish kind of mannerisms and humor work so well, and she made it work so well. I think she's one of the best pop singers I think in the past 20 years. She's genuinely amazing, and all of us in Gurriers are really, really into the music, and I think she's just a really incredible performer as well. Still haven't seen her live. Dying to see her live. So it'll be good. Hopefully seeing her live this year, and I think everyone should listen to CMAT, even though they already do. So yeah, go on.
So I've had the pleasure of going to many Gurriers shows. I've seen some wild things at it. One thing that sticks out is a man hanging off the roof in the Grand Social. What are some of your craziest stories from your live shows?
There was another one at the Grand Social. A fella got up and like stage dive and like hit the floor. I think he hit the floor. There's a really good video of it somewhere.
Yeah. It's on ours.
Yeah. I'm trying to think anything else mad.
Bristol for me. What was that? Some that old dude fell on the ground and I helped him get up, and the first person he saw he punched was me.
Oh yeah. That's only a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah,
that was like.
Was like.
Was that in May?
Yeah, in May.
Yeah, Jesus, yeah. I forgot about that.
Still singing. Sorry, I was still singing "Approachable," and while I was when he punched me, I still had to sing the next line of the song, but I kept going. I was like, and then I talked to him afterwards. I was like, "Did you enjoy the gig?" And he's like, "Yeah, that was great." I was like, "Do you remember punching me?" And he was like, "No." It's like, all right, I'm not gonna say anything. Just forget it. But yeah, he had a good right hook.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Is there anything real standout? The crowds you get in Europe are mental.
Crowds are always mental in Europe. I remember there was one of their songs, "Come and See," which is a lot more. It's not as mentally heavy, but there was like a circle pit in the Netherlands.
Oh, I remember in Maastricht.
First ever big show.
Yeah, the gig was like over, and like you were like standing at the edge of the stage, and your man just like grabbed your legs and took him out crowd surfing like after the gig.
Yeah, I didn't have any fucking.
I was just grabbed and thrown.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's always there's so many. They all kind of meld into one, and you probably finish this interview now. We're like, oh, I remember that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's.
It's all
there's a lot more to go.
Yeah, there's always energy. It's always good. Like it's always a bit mental. Yeah.
So here at the GOO, we're all about promoting young Irish talent. Is there anyone in particular you're listening to at the moment?
I really like a band called Blue Slate. They're really good. It's like shoegazy, like punky sort of stuff. I know that kind of sounds like what we do, but it's kind of different. Really good band. Yeah, I'd recommend checking them out. They play live a lot around Dublin. Haven't released a whole lot, but yeah, really good band. Check them out.
Strong pop elements as well, which is good.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, I actually been listening a lot to Robbie Stickland. I was talking about him earlier on. His album that he released, I think it was this year or last year. I've been listening to a lot on tour, and it's really good. He's like a kind of like a Mac DeMarco, if Mac DeMarco wasn't making 200 hours of nonsense. Yeah, it's really good. There's loads of great bands. There's Affection to Rent. They're doing really good. Cable are doing really good. Yeah, there's so many good Irish bands. Cruel Sister, and probably one of the best Irish bands ever is Girlfriend. So yeah, always happy to be Irish and in the music scene, to be honest.
So lads, thanks for joining us. Is there anything you want to plug before we go?
Yeah, so we've got our debut album, Come and See, coming out September 13th, Friday the 13th. We're doing a big tour. We're going to be playing we're going to be playing in Dublin, Belfast, Cork, Limerick, and Galway. I always give you stick because I'm like, you should know this, but like,
Kerry as well.
oh, we're playing Kerry as well. List of old Mike the Pies. Can't forget Mike the Pies. That's going to be in November. We're playing all over Europe. We're doing a UK tour as well. If anyone fancies, a wee trip abroad to, see a band you can see at home. I think, we're all really excited to get out on the road and see lots of, sweaty people dancing. Yeah, it's really good. Anything else to plug? No. Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.